Hey, Sean here from IQ Barbecue, and today we're going to be making a national favorite, the Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme, but we're going to be taking it to that next level. We're going to be using Japanese A5 Wagyu Beef, and we're going to put a few extra things as well to make it just our own kind of a signature IQ Barbecue Crunchwrap. It's going to be extraordinary. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make this Crunchwrap truly crunchy, and that's going to start with street taco shells. And if you've ever seen these are great. They're thin, they're only maybe about 3 or 4 inches in diameter, perfect to use for this, but they're not crunchy right now. We're going to go ahead and put these on our lined baking rack here. We'll do like 6 of them here. Put a little bit of olive oil onto each one, and then a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of salt. Perfect. Now we're going to take these, we're going to put them in our oven, 350 degrees for probably about 10 minutes, just to let them get a little bit of crispness to them. We're going to put these in our Crunchwrap. That's going to give us our signature crunch. One extra thing we're going to do, however, is we're going to put another lined rack on top of the tortillas, and this is going to keep them from curling up in the oven. So let's get them in the oven. Okay, I've gone ahead and cut some Roma tomatoes, which is what we're going to use for this. You can use any tomatoes you want. I just like the Roma tomatoes. But you can see the Roma tomatoes have a lot of membrane in the center here. And basically that membrane has a lot of liquid in it. And so something you want to try to get rid of. This is something that Gordon Ramsay does. And basically you're just going to pop that membrane out of the center. That's all you're going to do, real simple. And that leaves you with a lot of tomatoes still, but no extra liquid, because we don't want to add any more liquid into this. It's a Crunchwrap, not a soggy wrap. So we'll cut the rest of these up, put them in a bowl. We already have some sliced up lettuce that we're going to use. And now we're ready to go to the star of our show, the A5 Wagyu ground beef. And again, I mentioned this is Miyazaki Japanese A5 Wagyu ground beef. Look at this, look how white that is. It's crazy. Huge amount of fat content. And we're going to make this real simple. We're going to put this in a pan. I'm going to put a little bit of oil, but not very much, because remember, there's a lot of fat already in this. And we're going to saute this on medium heat until we get a nice color on the ground beef. Even a little bit of a crust is going to be good. And that, again, that is the theme we're following today. So, medium heat. Okay, so now we have that over medium heat. We'll just break it apart a little bit here, make it brown quicker. And this beef, you can tell, if you've ever cooked Wagyu beef, especially A5 Wagyu beef, it is sticky because it melts so quickly. That extra fat on here is just like butter. So we're going to go ahead and let that start to break down a little bit. And let's check on our tortillas. They look really good. Okay, so next, pestle and mortar. We're going to make our seasoning for the ground beef. This is going to start with some smoked paprika, some chipotle chili, some chili flakes, some salt, some pepper, and then we're going to add a little bit of just traditional taco seasoning. And that's good. Perfect. Now, we'll go ahead and just kind of mash this up, mashing those chilies up, getting a little bit of a finer mix on this, which is exactly what we want to do. It will absorb into the meat better. And remember, what we just added in, the smoked paprika, the chili flakes, those are basically the same things that are in most traditional taco seasonings. Perfect. We'll take this and pour it into a bowl. We'll set that aside. Our ground beef really starting to brown now, and look at all of the fat that's already on the bottom. And don't worry, we're not going to let that fat go to waste. We're going to use that fat in this recipe. Okay, so we have our taco seasoning set aside. We have our vegetables done, our meat's browning, our taco shells are just about done. Really halfway done with this recipe already. It's really quick and easy to make. And listen, if you don't think there's a lot of fat in Japanese Wagyu, especially A5, look at all the liquid on the bottom of this pan. Unbelievable. So now let's go ahead and add our seasoning and mix this in. Well, that smells good. And remember, you can use any beef for this. You can just use ground beef, you can use ground turkey. It doesn't really matter. We're just using this just to show as an example of something you can do. We're going to drain off a lot of that fat, so don't worry about that at this point, but it's going to be incredible. Okay, so ground beef is done. Now I went ahead and drained off all of the excess fat that was in there, and we're going to use that fat. So we'll put that aside. We're not going to throw that away. So this ground beef is just exactly what we want it. Perfectly done. You can see a little bit of a crust on some of these pieces. We're going to scrape off the bottom of the pan a little bit. All that extra flavor is going to be added in the ground beef, which is exactly what you want. So now let's check on our taco shells. Okay, we have those street taco shells out of the oven. Show you what they look like. Hot. We'll take that rack off the top, and this is what they should look like. Perfect, crunchy, exactly the way you want them, and this is what you want to put in the crunch wrap. So we'll take our other shells here, we'll put them aside, and let's start building these crunch wraps. Okay, let's build these. So we'll start with flour tortilla. These are large, these are restaurant style tortillas, about 14 inches. So they're good sized tortillas. I put them on the flat top for just about a minute, just to get them a little bit warm, makes them more pliable, they don't tend to crack. Okay, so let's take the tortilla, let's start adding our ingredients. So we're gonna start with some lettuce. That will give a nice little barrier of crunch on the bottom. Then some of the Wagyu beef. Okay, some of our tomatoes. Remember, don't overfill these, because if you do, you won't be able to get these things to close. Now, whenever I put raw tomatoes on anything, always gonna add a little bit of salt. Now a little bit of cheese. Then, lastly, a little bit of chili nacho cheese sauce as well, just like that. All right, now we'll take one of those shells that we made, put it right in the middle of it. Also, I cut out a piece of tortilla about the same size with the cookie cutter of the flour tortillas. We're going to put that over the top just so we have a consistent coverage over the top, because we're not going to fold this all the way over, and it's not a corn tortilla that's exposed, it's the flour. So now what we're going to do is fold this. Real simple. You're going to go to the center of your flour tortilla. You're going to take this piece here and you're just going to curl it over, and then you're going to turn. Curl it over and turn, curl it over and turn, curl it over and turn, over and turn, and the last one, just curl it over back and just like that. And then you flip it over, and there's your crunch wrap. Guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to put the sour cream in the first one, so sour cream in all of them. And we'll fold this last one up, and then we'll get them on the grill. All right, and there are our 3 crunch wraps. These look really good. Okay, it's time to get them on the flat top, and what we're gonna do is we're going to take the Wagyu fat that we had left over from the ground beef, and we're going to use that to grill these on our flat top. So I'm going to pour some of that fat down. Spread it out a little bit. Wait a way to season the grill. Now let's add these on. And these are not going to take that long. Again, we just want to get a little bit of color on them. We're not looking to cook them anymore. Just a little bit of color and to seal the bottoms of the tortillas. They smell incredible. That Wagyu fat is just crazy. So hope you're liking this video. If you are, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Make sure that post notification bell so you get notified when we put out a new video, which is every Thursday. And remember, hit the links down below for everything we use today, recipe, ingredients, all the equipment, and even our merchandise. Okay, let's give it a check and see if these things are ready to turn, because I think they probably are. Yes. Ooh, nicely done. Wow, these look great. Just a little bit of color on top of each one. Again, this little bit of color here is perfect. This one's probably a little lighter than I want, but these are perfect just to add that little bit of color, but to also add a ton of flavor. And they are done. Let's take them off the flat top and let's cut into them. Wow, how good do those look? And you know that Wagyu fat's gonna add a ton of flavor. Okay, so I guess the only thing we can do now is cut into one and see. I'll move these around here, I'll use this one. Now I also, earlier, went to Taco Bell, got myself a Crunchwrap Supreme. Let's take a look at the difference. So this is their Crunchwrap Supreme, and I tell you, I love these, they're great. But if you look at the difference between the two, there's quite a bit of difference as far as the look between one versus the other. So we're going to cut into these. Let's see how each one looks inside versus the Taco Bell versus one we made. And then again, it's all going to matter how it tastes. We're going to use this ridiculously large Dow Strong knife. And let's cut into this one first. That crunch, unmistakable. Now let's do the Taco Bell. And no crunch. Oh, right. Okay, so, and let's look at inside of each here. So here's ours. If you can see that. How good does that look? Here is Taco Bell's. I'm not sure there's even anything really in there. There's not much meat. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot of really anything in these. Not a lot of crunch to them as well. These, a lot more crunch and a lot more goodness inside. I mean, these look great. Even the outside has got that, just that crispiness, which is just what you want. It's perfect. Okay, let's give these a taste because that is all that matters. Okay, let's start with the Taco Bell version. As I mentioned, I love these things. These are great, but you can see the difference between this and what we made. So let's take a bite. It's good. I mean, they taste great. That's why they're so popular. But they're definitely not crunchy. There's nothing crunchy in them. That means so you can really taste the difference there. Okay, now let's taste ours. And you can just, I mean, look at the difference. It's very clear. One looks completely different than the other. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow, that is so good. And do you hear the crunch? Completely different than the first version from Taco Bell. Wow. That is so good. Oh, man. I know I said with the burrito tacos that we made, that was the best thing we made all year. If this isn't the best, it's definitely number 2 or maybe 1B or maybe 1A because it is that good and so easy to make. You can obviously toast those street taco shells the night before or days before and then just put them together. This doesn't take that long at all. You don't have to use the Wagyu beef, but the Wagyu beef, it is just so juicy, so moist because of that beef and so much flavor. And that homemade taco seasoning works perfectly for this. So you put that into any ground beef and it's gonna make it better. And even ground turkey, as I mentioned before, just so easy to make. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I enjoyed making it for you. Like always, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, hit that post notification bell so you get notified whenever we put out a new video, which is every Thursday. And make sure you like us on our other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And remember, with IQ Barbecue, everyone can be a genius in the kitchen. I'm gonna get back to these Crunchwrap Supremes. Have a great day.